And that breaking news tonight, the governor confirms a $4 billion global settlement over the Maui wildfires. The money will go to about 2,200 people who lost loved ones or property or were injured themselves.
As you just heard, less than a week before the one-year anniversary of the Lahaina Maui wildfire, Governor Josh Green on Friday announced a historic $4 billion global settlement. Before we deep dive into this major news, let's ask the many questions that remain unanswered. Is this amount of money enough for the mishaps of Maui Electric, Maui Water, and the Maui police who purposely blockaded the front street exits so nobody could escape and sacrificed all of those innocent people?
Why did the police block people from coming and exiting? The police was blocking the road. Hundreds of people were backed up there with people in their cars, and a lot of people lost their lives. The police officer that was over there, he should be investigated. It needs to be investigated by a third party that is not associated with the government.
I just can't freaking see.
Just put your phone down, I'll video.
We're not letting anyone up. We're just trying to get out. Now we're out of it.
We can see now.
Okay.
I can't believe that. It was
Holy.
like black. That was crazy. Wow.
Ooh.
We're good now.
Yep, we're good. We're out.
Damn. There's another engine. It's good.
Yeah.
It was right next to our car.
Right.
Could have reached out and touched it.
I don't know which way to go. I guess just keep going away from the fire.
Yeah.
Both sides to the left and the right are on fire. It's scary.
In deadly Maui fires, many had no warning and no way out. Those who dodged barricades survived. As flames tore through a West Maui neighborhood, car after car of fleeing residents headed for the only paved road out of town in a desperate race for safety. And car after car was turned back toward the rapidly spreading wildfire by a barricade blocking access to Highway 30. One family swerved around the barricade and was safe in a nearby town 48 minutes later. Another drove their four-wheel drive car down a dirt road to escape. Many of the survivors are angry and haunted by the thought that just a few minutes of notice could have saved many lives. We needed like 10 more minutes and we could have saved a lot of kids if we just had like a 10 or 15 minute warning. Just to review, the local government in Maui didn't use the sirens to alert residents to the fire, didn't allow access to water to put out the fire, and blocked the only exits out of town. This is one of the greatest scandals in American history. Many people should be in prison. They should be prosecuted if there's any justice in this world.
Hello everyone, Governor Green here. I'm with Deanne Criswell, who is the head of FEMA, and we're honored to have her as we walk through Lahaina and Front Street where we're seeing the devastation. So thank you for coming.
Absolutely, Governor, and just appreciate you allowing me to come here with you today. And it's so important that I have an opportunity to talk with you and be on the ground and see exactly what happened. I know we're going to go talk to survivors later to have a better understanding of what this impact really is to this community and how we're going to be able to work together to provide creative solutions to support the immediate needs, but also to think about what the long-term needs are going to be.
People in Lahaina are angry. We don't trust the government because of what has happened. I'm an attorney, and I question, there's so many things that are questionable that has happened here. We still don't trust the government. We're wondering what's on those documents for FEMA. I don't know what's on the documents myself. And we're afraid to sign documents because right after that, the governor says, oh, I'm going to take the land. The state wants to purchase all this land. Who the hell does he think that he should get this land? This land belongs to the people already.
Okay.
The government is liable for this, grossly negligent, at least if not criminally negligent. They should clean up all that land, restore that land to the people who own that because they failed here. They failed. The government failed.
For the first time, an entity of the Hawaiian government has sued over Maui's wildfire disaster that has killed at least 115 people, lifts nearly 400 people still unaccounted for, and caused an estimated $5 billion in damages.
The blame for the fires of West Maui is falling upon Hawaiian Electric, who knew as early as 4 years ago that there was a risk of fire due to their own negligence in maintaining power lines. But they did nothing. Hawaiian Electric, who is owned by Vanguard and Blackrock, has been shifting their focus to clean energy. And in order to build back better, the old system must first be destroyed. And so the power was left on to feed the flames.
Just to be clear, when you're talking about global warming, are you saying that climate change amplified the cost of human error?
Yes, it did.
FEMA also authorized one-time payments of $700 per household to folks who've been displaced, so they can do the immediate things of just taking care of medications and prescriptions that they so badly need.
So you're in an informational black hole. I don't know that Joe Biden's message has even reached the people of West Maui. But I will say this. I saw that $700 is going to be sent to the families of Lahaina. Now, I just did some quick math, Pete. There's about 13,000 residents of Lahaina. Times $700, that's $1.9 million. I think this week we announced another $40 billion for Ukraine. I'm not sure where we are at this point, Pete, but I believe it's something like $140 billion total for Ukraine. And last I checked, this is the United States of America, as is East Palestine, Ohio. So I don't know why it's so hard, comparatively, to rally for America and so easy, comparatively, to support Ukraine.
Yeah, the forgotten men and women on an island, forgotten today by an administration distracted by so many other things.
$4 billion for Maui, but how much was sent to Ukraine? $174 billion?
This will be $170 billion. We have never before in the history of the United States flooded so much money into another country. 61% of our country lives paycheck to paycheck. 8 out of 10 families that make $50,000 or less don't have enough money to pay for their bills in 2 weeks if their check doesn't come. If they have one interruption in their family, one thing that sets them back, one unexpected expense, they don't have enough money to pay their bills, and you want to put Ukraine first.
Will this do anything for the true victims, putting dollar amounts on the lost lives and properties destroyed?
Survivors like Kiha Kaina, who lost his father Joseph Lara, say no amount of money will bring back their loved ones.
101 moms, dads, uncles, aunties, friends. Those are the people that will never have an opportunity to be in Lahaina again. Money can buy a lot of things. Money will never buy getting our loved ones back.
Where are all of the missing children?
33, we're tracking new developments regarding West Maui schools. Now, here are the latest stats from the Department of Education. Before the fire, there were 3,001 students enrolled in that area. Since then, 778 have re-enrolled in other schools. 874 have signed up for distance learning. 129 are now enrolled in charter or independent schools. 12 have withdrawn. Now that leaves about 1,200 students that the DOE is actively trying to contact.
This next video you're about to see has no audio, but if you read along, it will explain the school bus mystery. If school was canceled that day, as they tell us, wouldn't the buses be lined up in the parking lot since they weren't in use? Footage has surfaced of a long line of school buses evacuating from Lahaina.
Now we're hearing reports that over 2,000 children right now are unaccounted for in Lahaina public schools. 2 weeks following the fire, and this is according to the Hawaii State Department of Education. This is not according to a TikToker. This is not according to Twitter. This is according to the Hawaii State Department of Education, who is documenting who's showing up in school and who isn't. So for anybody out there that tries to snoop, so will come out here and they'll try to say, well, we're fact checking this with our BS meter and we're going to just automatically deflect on any stories about it. Well, then maybe you should turn to the people you look up to the most, which is the government, who are even admitting in Hawaii that over 2,000 children have not shown up yet to school. Now, we all obviously have heard reports from so many people in Maui, so much so that even local media outlets have picked up on the story, claiming that the numbers that they're giving in regards to the amount of people missing is nowhere near. In fact, the number seems to be edging closer to the amount of people that we lost on the 11th of September. Yet you don't hear this pumped and pushed as a national tragedy. Why? Well, too many people were too suspicious of what they saw with their own eyes.
Avoiding future lawsuits. Does that mean there's no trials and no truth ever revealed? Why did anything blue not burn in the fires? What's up with the color blue in the Maui fire? The theory is that a blue wave laser can start a fire instantly from a distance, and when it does, the only thing left standing is anything with the same color of the laser beam. Blue.
A lot of things that are blue, for some reason, stood the test of the fire. That this blue car in these homes had blue in it. I mean, it gets weird. Here, blue survived it. The cloth, the boat that survived in the ocean, and these are all just the mainstream articles showing this. The boat was blue. The car that survived, right, it's still blue. And I mean, this is what they showed in the mainstream news.
Okay, guys, this is the last episode I'm going to do for a while, but it should be a pretty good one. It's things that did not burn during the fire. I went through hours of footage, and it was pretty interesting what I found. Here are the famous umbrellas. These are actually Tommy Bahama umbrellas. Then the sole surviving car on Front Street in front of the outlet mall. And I actually found another sole survivor car the other direction that's a little bit further south on Front Street. You can see it on the left in this frame here.
How much will HECO raise rates after this, and how much will the people of Maui have to pay? In response to the devastating wildfires that ravaged Maui in August of 2023, a $4 billion settlement has just been reached in an attempt to compensate the victims. This settlement, announced nearly a year after the tragedy, involves several key defendants, including the state of Hawaii, County of Maui, Hawaiian Electric, Kamehameha Schools, West Maui Land Company, Hawaiian Telecom, and Spectrum Charter Communications. The settlement aims to resolve over 450 lawsuits brought forth by individuals, businesses, and insurance companies affected by the wildfires.
The settlement's for everyone. It's a global settlement for people who lost loved ones, who lost property, who were renters, businesses. That's what the global settlement's all about, and it's for anyone who's been involved in the lawsuits.
Just last week, Governor Josh Green blamed mainland parties for holding up the settlement.
Governor Josh Green says he and others are working 24/7 to reach a resolution soon, adding there are some mainland parties asking for too much of the settlement. Resources, he insists, must go to families, saying he will call them out by name next week if they hurt Hawaii's people or further delay the agreement.
The wildfires, which claimed 102 lives and destroyed more than 3,000 structures in Lahaina, have been described as one of the deadliest and most destructive in Hawaii's history. The fires were exacerbated by strong winds and dry conditions, which some believe were not adequately responded to by Hawaiian Electric and other entities. Literally surrounded by water, Hawaiian official M. Kaleo Manuel refused to release water in Maui as the fire wreaked havoc and destruction. Manuel is the Deputy Director of the Department of Land and Natural Resources. Let's listen in as he explains that water should be revered but not used even in an emergency.
The commission is responsible per our authorizing statute to protect and manage all water resources in the state. One Water is like taking it and looking at it from a holistic system perspective. And that's not any different than how Hawaiians traditionally managed water. You know, and in essence, we treated Native Hawaiians treated water as one of the earthly manifestations of a god and a kua kane. And so that reverence for a resource and that reciprocity in relationship was something that was really, really important to our worldview and well-being, right? And living in an island, isolated from other, you know, civilizations. And so I think where it shifted to today or over time is that we've become used to looking at water as like something which we use and not necessarily something that we revere as that thing that gives us life, right? I mean, to me, it's a shift in value set. And, you know, if we can start to really look at how we as humans in an island can reconnect to that traditional value set. So really my motto is always like, let water connect us and not divide us. Like we can share it, but it requires true conversations about equity.
Hawaiian Electric in particular has been criticized for not shutting down power lines despite warnings from the National Weather Service about heightened wildfire risks. Interestingly, this settlement amount allows Hawaiian Electric to not go bankrupt, causing the stock price to skyrocket, nearly tripling in value in just 1 week.
HECO is looking at paying roughly $1.5 billion, which Curtis says wouldn't be enough to bankrupt the utility, and has sent stocks soaring.
Who owns Hawaii Electric? Their two largest shareholders are Blackrock and Vanguard.
The exact cause of the wildfires remains under investigation. However, some evidence suggests that fallen power lines and an alleged failure by the fire department to fully extinguish initial fires played a role. This has fueled various conspiracy theories about the true origins and exacerbating the factors of the fires. Some speculate that corporate negligence and insufficient disaster preparedness measures were significant contributors, while others believe there may have been undisclosed factors at play. In the aftermath of the disaster, several conspiracy theories emerged, suggesting that the fires were not a natural occurrence, but were instead the result of a deliberate act. One theory is that the fires were started by a direct energy weapon, also known as DEWs, as a type of advanced technology that can generate a beam of concentrated energy capable of starting fires from a distance. Proponents of this theory point to a series of viral videos and images circulating online, which they claim show evidence of the use of such a weapon.
I remain laser focused on recovering and rebuilding efforts in Maui. We were out there and many of you were there as well. It's devastating what happened.
Unusual sight captured on camera. Japanese and local astronomers say a Chinese satellite was recently seen beaming down green lasers over the islands.
The lasers flash for just a couple seconds. Initially thought to be from a NASA altimeter satellite, the Japanese put out a correction note on Monday saying NASA scientists found a most likely candidate as the ACDL instrument by the Chinese Daki-1 AEMS satellite. I went to a University of Hawaii astronomer who read up on AEMS instruments.
It's a Chinese satellite that is measuring pollutants, among other things. It has many different instruments on it.
What the f*** is that, dude? What? That's it.
What the f? Something exploded. Explosion.
Another theory suggests that the fires were started as part of a land grab by wealthy individuals or corporations seeking to acquire valuable property in Lahaina. This theory is fueled by the fact that many of the homes and buildings in the town were destroyed, while others, including some owned by wealthy individuals, were left standing.
Did you know Oprah Winfrey has been securing Maui land like it's a trending bestseller? In just 2023, she invested in a vast 520-acre plot for $3.89 million, then went for another 330 acres at $2.47 million, not to mention the two 10-acre patches she bought in 2022 for $100,000 each. From a mere 100 acres in Maui, Oprah now commands over 1,000 acres. But here's the twist. Amidst this real estate surge, a sudden fire happens, destroying homes nearby, but leaving her vast terrains unscathed. Does that ring a bell? Think back to 2017. A deadly fire consumed homes near her Montecito mansion, yet once again, Oprah's property emerged untouched. And after that event, she expanded her Montecito land holdings to a whopping 70 acres, even snapping up a 4-acre complex in 2019, which was decimated by mudslides shortly after the 2017 fire. The connections, the acquisitions, and the timing are definitely food for thought.
A third theory suggests that the fires were started by the government as part of a secret program to test a new type of weapon or to manipulate the weather.
So instead of controlling the narrative, we can just control the weather. Theoretical physicist Dr. Michio Kaku joins me now. So, Doctor, has the U.S. government been experimenting with weather control?
Believe it or not, the answer is yes. Well, as Mark Twain said, everyone complains about the weather, but no one ever does anything about it. Well, the government takes exception to that.
And now we're learning that scientists and researchers are looking at how to change the weather on purpose. That's right. Lasers now could one day manipulate rain and lightning.
Well, instead of doing a rain dance, we physicists are firing trillion-watt lasers into the sky to actually precipitate rain clouds and actually bring down lightning bolts. This is potentially a game changer. Governments have been playing with this thing.
Alleged to.
Alleged to, right.
Yeah.
Now, we realize that for decades now, these governments have been alleged to have experimented with weather control.
The intense energy being beamed into the sky by HAARP is actually heating up the atmosphere, causing weather changes.
HAARP is being used for weather modification. The military's own record proves it. They've admitted it within their own documents, and yet they still deny it to the public.
This theory is based on the fact that the fires occurred shortly after a conference was held in Maui on the topic of smart cities, which some have interpreted as a cover for the development of advanced weapon systems.
Did you know that there are 2 sites in the U.S. that have these directed energy weapons? One is Nevada and the other is Maui. Let's start with this directed energy Air Force Maui optical and supercomputing AMOS site located on the island of Maui. May I quote from the website? Listen to this. Directed energy harnesses the power of the electromagnetic spectrum to enable airmen to effectively and affordably strike critical targets at the speed of light. Question, why Maui? Answer, it's a new smart grid in Hawaii dubbed the, quote, Jump Smart Maui Project.
We busted our ass, and this is what we get. Nobody called us. Our phones didn't work from 5 in the morning. The fire was not 10 o'clock when I went to work. The fire was still there. There was no water. Tell me if that's coincidence. No water, no warning, and everybody talking about the satellite city before the fire. Lahaina going to be the first satellite city. Well, hey, Jeff Bezos, you got what you wanted. Oprah, you got what you wanted. And the guy who owns the nut, you got what you wanted. F*** us all over. That's what happened. Okay. We need help in Lahaina. Who's going to come now and ask us, can I pray for you, Auntie? Thank you. Can I help you with your paperwork? Because all we got so far was $700, and we don't know who to call or anything. It's culturally insensitive in that zone.
Governor Josh Green emphasized the urgency and collaborative effort required to reach this settlement. He highlighted the importance of quickly directing resources to those impacted, noting that resolving such a complex matter within a year is unprecedented.
The settlement's for everyone. It's a global settlement for people who lost loved ones, who lost property, who were renters, businesses. That's what the global settlement's all about, and it's for anyone who's been involved in the lawsuits. There are some people that could go a decade before seeing resources, and that's just not okay. People will leave Hawaii if they don't have an opportunity to see some closure and economic relief.
The governor also mentioned that the total recovery effort, which includes insurance claims and support from county, federal, and state resources, is expected to approach $12 billion. The settlement includes significant contributions from Hawaiian Electric, which has agreed to pay $1.99 billion. As I mentioned previously, this payment is intended to avoid further litigation and potential bankruptcy for the company. Shelly Kimura, the president and CEO of Hawaiian Electric, expressed hope that the settlement would enable all parties to move forward without the divisiveness of continued legal battles. She emphasized the company's commitment to supporting the recovery and future resilience of Lahaina and Maui.
Hawaiian Electric, HECO, is facing a lot of heat because of these lawsuits, right? So what changes do you see or not see HECO addressing right now?
Well, unfortunately, it seems like they just stuck their head in the sand like an ostrich. I mean, some of the investigation we found really shows that HECO was asleep at the wheel. There was a fire in 2018, very similar to the 2023 fire. Everybody should have learned their lessons from that, but they didn't. We went on Civil Beat and did an investigation, and apparently HEI Chief Executive Scott Siu, in 2022, his compensation package was $3.1 million.
Wow.
Now, in 2023, the year that his companies burned down Lahaina, his compensation package went up to $5.4 million.
Wow.
Shelly Kimura, head of Hawaiian Electric, in 2022, her compensation package was $1.5 million. After her company caused the worst wildfire disaster in this country, her compensation package went up to $2.1 million. We cannot allow this to happen.
As the settlement process continues, it's subject to final documentation and court approval. Payments to the affected parties are expected to begin by mid-2025, contingent on the approval of the Hawaii legislature and the resolution of insurance claims. Does this settlement represent a significant step towards healing and rebuilding for the Maui community, demonstrating a collective effort to address the aftermath of a tragic event? Or does it instead show the ability of big corporations' power to silence the people with their deep pockets? Let us know what you think in the comments section below. As always, I truly appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and I hope to catch you on the next one.